Trump leaks point to hidden $600 million deal with Obama CIA to feed Washington Post. When writing the First Amendment to the Constitution, one area of speech the founders were specifically interested in protecting was that of a free press. They saw the press as a sort of fourth branch of government, one that would keep the checks and balances of the other three branches honest. However, over time the same press that was given protection has eroded into a propaganda machine driven by money and political agendas of those who own the media outlets. They have crawled into bed with the very entities they are to keep in check and bust out if corrupted. As such is the mainstream media today, and one the American people no longer trust, and rightfully so given what is being exposed in recent years. The majority of people do not know Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos purchased the Washington Post and is now the sole owner with no editorial board or ethical review committees to oversee the actions of Bezos as a publisher, much less the courage to stand against the new boss. It begs to question: how is Bezos connected to questionable intelligence leaks in recent months? What does he have to do with the sudden disruption of web services that kept millions from accessing whistleblowing website WikiLeaks during its explosive releases of State Department cables? Cables containing inside information revealing corruption within American politics linked to former Secretary of State and presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. The majority of Americans do not know leaked CIA documents to undermine a new president and administration were leaked through the Washington Post first, and after Bezos took the helm of America's newspaper. Much worse and even more suspicious is the majority of the people have not been informed that Bezos landed a $600 million federal contract, and by who? The CIA. The deal is for a computing cloud developed by Amazon Web Services, Us. It also just happens Us services all 17 agencies within the U.S. intelligence community. An unholy alliance in which Bezos stands to gain many more millions by pacifying and working with the CIA through his publication The Washington Post. Leaks and information Bezos will publish without question, without proper verification and journalistic sourcing. The CIA will now have its own propaganda publication to do whatever it likes in misinforming and manipulating the American people and the voters. Vital information intentionally withheld from the American people, as Bezos uses the Post to forge pocket-lining government contracts while promoting his own personal political agenda. Is this lack of reporting of the Bezos-CIA partnership by the MSM the result of massive incompetency, or a very well-organized cover-up within the MSM inner circle of 4 or 5 elitists who now own 6 companies that control over 90% of MSM outlets? The same outlets which through diverse company divisions own every television station and newspaper in this country, with the exception of very small weekly community publications and certain Christian networks. Even many of those community weeklies have been scooped up by larger publication divisions. Are we connecting the dots at each cross-section of intertwining strings holding together this corrupt spider web? A vast interlocking network designed to lure and trap average American citizens into its carefully woven web of manipulation and deceit. The Washington Post is the most widely known and respected news outlet in the world, reaching more people than any other publication including the New York Times. It has always been the standard in which journalistic ethics are established and adhered to by other publications. It sets the example, to be followed by the everyday journalists out there on the beat trying to do their jobs. By utilizing the internet and social media, the Post has literally millions of subscribers and followers reading and watching online video on a daily basis. It is the media center of the nation's capital and the eye of the DC political belt. Control the Washington Post and you control the message, the MSM and the agenda. The Post is unquestionably the political paper of record in the United States, and how it covers governance sets the agenda for the balance of the news media. Journalism scholar Robert W. McChesney revealed to alternate.org in a December investigative article. Citizens need to know about this conflict of interest in the columns of the Post itself, he added. In the same article, a statement released by the Public Institute of Advocacy quoted McChesney as saying, If some official enemy of the United States had a comparable situation, say the owner of the dominant newspaper in Caracas was getting $600 million in secretive contracts from the Maduro government, the Post itself would lead the howling chorus impaling that newspaper and that government for making a mockery of a free press. It is time for the Post to take a dose of its own medicine. If this alliance between the CIA and Bezos isn't illegal, then it is certainly unethical and displays a huge conflict of interest while also exposing the corruption existing within the MSM. The main sources of news and information Americans sought and believed until the rise of alternative media outlets. Alternative sources of information the MSM bash and attempt daily to discredit as fake news, when fake, misleading and sometimes write-out lies being spread across social media come out of the MSM and pseudo-extremist left-wing sites erected simply to misinform and confuse the American voter. Many Facebook pages and websites that have popped up over the past several years whose resources and money are being funded by George Soros's well-oiled Media Matters machine. Just one of many non-profit organizations extending from his Open Society Foundation. Soros also has embedded ties to many MSM outlets including the New York Times, the Associated Press, NBC and ABC, and here it is again, the Washington Post. Readers are urgently encouraged to research Soros, his history and his worldwide organizations. Altnet also writes, Amazon's offer wasn't the low bid, but it won the CIA contract anyway by offering advanced high-tech cloud infrastructure. So how is at a time government should be pinching pennies due to the increasing national debt, the CIA passed over lower bidders for the contractive services? The answer tracks back to the infamous blocking of the WikiLeaks website by Bezos' company Amazon Web Services, as a service Bezos personally and publicly brags is the most advanced and best high-tech cloud infrastructure on the market. WikiLeaks was booted from Amazon's web hosting service Oz. So, at the height of public interest in what WikiLeaks was publishing, readers were unable to access the WikiLeaks website, reported watchdog group FAIR in 2013. So why did Oz give WikiLeaks the boot? Most likely at the bequest of the CIA, whom Bezos has been doing business with since 2013, when the $600 million contract was awarded to Oz. Bezos also has close ties to the Clintons and backed Hillary in her failed run for the presidency, both in the 2008 primary campaign and in 2016 as the Democrat nominee. Bezos also publicly voices open contempt for President Trump and his policies. He recently was behind the Washington challenge to Trump's 90-day immigration ban and threatened suit himself in an email to his employees, as was reported on this site. Bezos, without any reference to stockholders' input or lack of agreement, said he will put the full resources at Amazon to defeat the policy and implied his mission of taking down President Trump. It was Bezos' Washington Post that first leaked documents and led the charge to discredit Trump's national security advisor cabinet pick. General Michael Flynn was forced to resign due to the unverified information touted in the leaks. Flynn was cleared by the FBI of any wrongdoing in those leaks. But the damage was already done. In recent days, it has been revealed the CIA has full intention of attempting a coup to remove Trump from office, even though the Donald was democratically elected by American voters in a free election. And it appears the CIA is in conspiracy with Bezos' plan to use the Washington Post to achieve a mutual goal: to disrupt and destroy President Trump and his administration. A goal that has no regard or concern for national security or the safety and well-being of American citizens. Any impact on the average citizen, including possible loss of life by terrorist attacks, is considered collateral damage. In an exchange of tweets on February 15, John Schindler, former NSA analyst and national security columnist for The Observer, answered a question asking what he thought was going on at the NSA right now. Schneider responded, citing a friend in the intelligence community reference to Trump. Which begs a bigger question than the unethical alliance between the CIA, Bezos and his Washington Post. Could Trump be impeached? Is he in danger of befalling the same fate as President Kennedy? Being a previous anti-establishment president, Kennedy sought to disengage from the Vietnam conflict and dissolve the Federal Reserve, but was assassinated. Actions that directly impacted the CIA and wealthy elitists. Thanks you for watching. Please subscribe 24 Hours News channel. Goodbye and see you again.